Hey guys, Gondo here. So I just wanted to show you guys this cool little feature that I've done, that I've programmed, that I like to call encoder modes. Now these were developed with the help of my Twitch chat and Zark, right? Awesome, love it. The idea here being that the encoder, so this is an Evolv PCB. This is the Evolv75 PCB. This is the pre-alpha version which shipped with the prototype units, the CE units. I believe there were 20 units. It was a private group buy, and the idea here is, well, the Evolv, it has this nice little encoder, and this encoder also has directionals. So not only you can rotate it and click it, but you can also north, south, east, and west. And what I want to show you guys here is something that I've been wanting to do for a while, which is make an encoder that has a multiple functionality support, but changing between functionalities is very easy, seamless, and I think that you can pretty much classify it as on the fly. So what do I mean by this? Let me show the code here, because this is what I've shown in the Twitch stream too, right? So basically we have three modes here. One mode which I called pink mode, one mode I called cyan mode, and one mode that I called the yellow mode. The pink one is kind of purplish. I love the color though. But the idea here being, well, this first mode here, it controls media, so it does volume, it does volume down, volume up, it does mute or media play if you want. It's customizable, you can put in whatever you want. And as it is right now, the directionals, they do arrows, up, down, left, right, but you can also do next song, previous song, that kind of thing. I call this the media mode, right? So, but again, analog, mute, and then arrows. Pretty dope if you ask me. Now, when I go to cyan mode, and this is pretty awesome, to change modes, you need only to hold the encoder, click, boom. If you hold it for a second or more, it changes mode. If you think a second is too little, you can edit this little macro here called encoder click delay to, this is in milliseconds, so 1000 equals a second. If you do 2000, it does 2 seconds, and that kind of thing. The cyan mode is alt-tabbing, and this is pretty awesome. So the idea here being that the encoder alt-tabs for you. Let me show you what I mean. This is the monitor that I'm showing right now is not my main monitor, so the alt-tabbing window does not show. But get this. So this is my main monitor, and there we go. So it alt tabs for you. And the way that you select between applications is you either wait, it holds the window for 2 seconds, or you can click the encoder. If you click the encoder, it automatically changes for you. The amount of time that you've got to wait by default is 2 seconds, but you can edit that here. Alt tab delay 2000 equal 2 seconds. You can do 3, 4, 5, or something like that. There are also other nice things about this mode. I call this the application mode, because it also changes between the tabs in your Chrome browser, for instance, right? So here I have Chrome, and the sides, east and west, they do tabs. Basically what they do is they send Control plus Tab and Shift Control Tab keys, but I'm pretty sure that this is supported by most modern browsers, so I think that this should work with your Mozilla's, Microsoft Edges, and that kind of thing. This is Chromium, Chrome, same thing. And up and down they do, I forgot. Up and down they do maximize and minimize, right? So if you go down, it minimizes. If you go up, it maximizes. Now, on this graphical manager that I'm using, which is GNOME, it doesn't have minimize. So it doesn't fully minimize. I believe in Windows it does fully minimize, but there you go. You can also program it to do this. It's just a combination of keys. So you can program this to put the application wherever you want in your screen. I believe this is very useful for people that don't have multiple displays, but they do have like a widescreen display where they can put Windows all the way there. And the third mode, which is golden mode or yellow mode or whatever you call it, is basically the navigation mode. The navigation mode is mouse wheel, right? So it does mouse wheel. The click is the mouse click itself. You can see this here, and the directionals, I didn't find a better combination for this, but the directionals, what they do is home and page up and page down. Why? Because when you're navigating in a browser, page up and page down, they do pretty much that, or reading a PDF file, page up, page down, they move page, and home and end, they go to the start or the end of the page. And when you click again, you go to the purple mode. Now, there's also another way to change between modes. If you don't want to click and wait, you can also press the layer 1 key, which is this key here on the default layout. So if you press layer 1 and change, rotate, you can also change between modes. So instead of just holding them, you can also change them back and forth between modes by layer 1, rotating the encoder. Honestly, I like this very much. I think that this would be the nice, this is a very nice implementation of the concept, and this works very surprisingly well, honestly. I am, then again, very happy with this. It's very, very responsive. The firmware was difficult, to say the least, to develop. For the people that have CE PCBs, this is QMK. This is going to be open source. This is currently, today's October 19th. It's 2 a.m. God damn it. This is on my QMK repository fork, but of course I'm going to submit this to the main QMK repo, and you guys will be able to download this. And if you want to implement this with your keyboard, you can also do that. I will be more than honored to help. For the guys that have a CE, PCB, I already have a drive folder with the Evolv'd JSON file and with the default firmware that only did volume. It didn't have modes. It only had the volume thing. And I'm going to be publishing a binary file for this, so you guys can flash this firmware into your PCBs right now. It's on that folder, drive folder there. Okay, awesome. I love it very much. Finishing thoughts. Modes, they are completely customizable. So as you guys can see here, I have 3 modes. So this here yellow mode, this here cyan mode, and this here pink mode. But it kind of automatically recognizes modes, so if you just keep on adding modes, it will, if you keep adding modes, it will account for those, right? The way that you define colors is here, right? So each mode has each mode is basically a struct, which you have this parameter here called indicator color. And this here is a color that I have defined here. It's an HSV color, right? These LEDs are capable of 16 million colors, right? So it's 2 to the 9th power, if I believe so. To the 5th, to the 4th, yeah, so 16 million colors, and this is pretty awesome. So you can define pretty much any color in the RGB spectrum that you want. The only problem being that you have to do in HSV. I think that you can get like online websites that can do that you can select them. But here I have Inkscape, which is a image editor. Super duper recommend this, free and open source. Please check it out. And this is pretty awesome because you can choose what color you want. See, so You can have an HSV color here, so if you want a horrible toxic green or something like that, you can choose that. If you want a very, very nice velvety pink, you can also have that, and you can pretty much choose the colors that you want for each mode and do how many modes you want. The modes, they also vary with layers, right? So the keyboard as it is right now has 4 layers. In each mode, you can see here that the mode key, so clockwise key, counterclockwise, they have 4 keys, 4 parameters, each pertaining to a layer, right? So for instance, you guys can see that what the first mode here does in layer 0 is volume up. Then again, it does volume up. But when you go to layer 1, it does this weird key here, which is a custom key that I have defined in QMK, which is encoder mode up, and it forces the encoder to go up. That's the layer changing and rotating. That's basically what this is. So for each mode, it can have a different behavior depending on the layer that you're in. Is that too much? Is that an over-engineering? Probably, yeah, but this is pretty nice because the way that this works is that I have the encoder change on layer 1, so I have a seamless change between the modes when I press layer 1. Also, this is very customizable to what I need, so then again, these are directional. So mode pink, the pink mode has directionals that do arrows, but this is kind of redundant because the Evolv is a 75% and it already has arrows. So you can then again do previous song, next song, and stop. And instead of doing mute here, you play, pause, and that kind of thing. So there are instances where you would pretty much like each mode to behave a little bit differently depending on layers. Also because this is what this is about, right? Customizability and friendliness. Also, speaking of customizability, this is VIA ready, right? So this is compatible with VIA. You can use VIA with this. So I'm using an NK65 right now. Love it. Cheers, Mike. And so it works with VIA as you would expect. 2 problems. First one is the VIA key map as it is, it defines these arrows here, these keys here, which you can pretty much guess that those are the encoder functions. These, if you override them, if you define something for them, it's basically going to override the function of the modes, right? So do what you will with them. But I do what you will with the VIA layout, but don't change those. Also, don't change lighting, right? So the lighting is here, but don't trifle with this because it's going to change the encoder colors and that kind of thing. And then again, as it is right now, VIA doesn't support encoders, much less disencoder modes, because this is something very customized, very new that I've implemented. So it's not on them, but yeah, it works perfectly with VIA. Just don't change the encoder stuff and the lighting, and it's gonna do just fine, right? Well, this is pretty much what I wanted to show you guys. Then again, this code here is QMK. It's open source, so if you want to put this in your project, if you want to implement this in your keyboard, feel free to do. I'll be honored to help you. And for the Evolv CE guys that want this firmware, there's gonna be a ready compiled binary file in the drive folder that you can just download and flash into your PCB. Okay, guys. See you guys. Good night.